I want to thank you, Emily, for giving me some questions to do, a little homework. We're far away from home, but we miss you, that's for sure. You want me to give a brief overview to start off with of where I came from. I came from central Indiana. At one time, I thought that I was going to go to IUK, and that was our plan to do that. Everything was going pretty good. My first wife and I were ready to go, and then all of a sudden, out of the sky blue, a guy wanted me to play basketball at Manchester College. So I played basketball and had a little fun there, but then at the same time, I became an elementary teacher. Spent 4 years at Manchester and really had a good experience, good group of people that helped me. I went to Metro North. I taught in an open concept building for the Metropolitan School District, and I really actually enjoyed that quite well. And it was a hard thing for the other people, but it was for the newer people at that time, that seemed to be okay. We were all pretty happy with it. And then I taught school mostly 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, but I did that for about 15 years. And then I split my career again, and I was a principal the last half of my career. So I've been in education pretty much my whole life, pretty much in the elementary realm, and pretty much in the, we call it middle school today, but 4, 5, and 6, and really didn't go any higher than that. But I had a good time. I taught mostly math and science, as I said, and I like to do a lot of hands-on stuff, fun things, and have fun things for the kids to do, and so they just learn while they're having fun. That was really my goal at that time. And then it says, why did you decide to further your education and become a principal? That's a really good question, because there are times I was a principal, I didn't enjoy it as much as I did as a teacher. I did enjoy most of the time as a teacher, or sometimes as a principal you get caught up in discipline, you get caught up in meetings after school, gym duty, and those kind of things. But I still enjoyed, for the most part, 4 out of 5 days as a principal was pretty good. One of them could be a son of a gun. So in general, the reason I did decide, because I had other role models that kind of showed me the way. One of them was Bob Fitzpatrick, one of my wife's cousins, and we talked a lot, and I kind of followed in his footsteps a lot. And then there were other people that challenged me to be a principal. They thought I would be good at it. So between people encouraging me and having role models who were there for me, I decided to be a principal. Maybe I could help more kids, because I've always been probably the best at helping kids of low IQ, kids of low self-esteem, those kind of things, because I just had a special knack and a care for those kids. Question number 3. Which position did I prefer and why? Well, on a bad day, principal wasn't my first choice. On a good day, it's probably just fine. There were more hours in a day as a principal. Sometimes I'd go home and I'd have to come right back. School board meetings lasted late. So, but I really preferred, if I could do it all over again, just be a teacher, because I really thoroughly enjoyed that. Students seemed to enjoy what we were doing. We just had a pretty good time, just overall. But principalships were good too. It's just that there was a lot of time. And then, as you know, I lost your grandma and my wife during the time as a principal, which made it tough to be a parent at home. It really did, because, at that time, as soon as you get home, I'd have to come back. Kids were home by themselves, kind of. Even though they were bigger, that was a really tough thing for all of us. Question number 4 was, what was the most difficult thing about each position that you were in? Well, for teaching, it's reaching all kids, because you can't have one lesson to get every single kid to fall into place. So really getting them all together and and doing one lesson and then being able to reach the gifted kids and also some of the slower kids. That's really a challenge, but it was a challenge well worth the effort. The most difficult thing about a principalship was just all the changing laws. You'd evaluate your teachers one way this time, and the next year you'd do it differently, and then there'd be a whole new program, and maybe I wasn't sold on the program itself, but my superintendent was. I had to pretty much go with what the superintendent had to say. So, what was the most rewarding part of each position that you were in? Well, as a teacher, I still have students that come and see me. I have students that stop their day, and they'll stop and even visit me here in Florida once they find out where I am. They're on Facebook, and I still stay in touch. I still have relationships with students that I've had, almost 50 years ago. So it's been a really good thing. And then another rewarding part of the principalship, I'll just give you an example. When I first took over as a principal at Swayze Elementary, our test scores were horrible. And we focused on that. We tried to figure out what we could do to make it better. We had a game plan, and we worked at it really hard. And because the staff bought in, nothing that I did, but as the staff, when they bought in and they started working hard, Swayze Elementary is on the map soon, because we were, at that time, they classified us a 4-star school, and then we'd be a 4-star school again, then a 4-star school again. So there was some really good years at Swayze Elementary, and things really perked up, and we really did well. So just seeing your kids do that, seeing your staff buy in, and seeing the staff with the pride that they had because our students were doing really well. It says, what is one mistake that you made, and if you had a chance to do it over, how would you change it? Boy, that's a good question, Emily. A mistake that I made. Well, there's a lot of them as a principal that I'd like to have back. Some of them were, you see a kid that's totally out of control and maybe not realizing what's going on at home. That's a mistake. We need to know where these kids are, where they're coming from, and what kind of trauma they may have had at home before they get to school. And so sometimes I would discipline a kid, and then, the day he come back, he might be in my office 3 times that day because it's a bad day. You can tell it's a bad day. And I had kind of ADD myself. I have a hard time focusing even today. But, you can get through those kind of things. But I'd tell the kids, they'd be sent to my office, and I'd say, you know what, teacher sent you down. You're not focusing. You can't sit in your seat. You can't do anything else like that. I said, you really got to kind of fake it a little bit. Fake that you can stay in your seat a little bit longer. Just try a little harder, because if you don't get better and you learn how to sit in your seat, you're going to grow up and be a principal and act just like me. Because I had a hard time sitting in my seat, and I had some trouble as well. Now, a mistake that I made as a teacher, I remember I overslept one day in my career. And my wife, Jane, she taught at nearby Greentown. We had one car. I usually walked to school. But when I had gotten up early and I was watching the news, and for some reason I fell asleep. And boy, when I woke up, it was like 8 o'clock. And I'm about 5 or 6 blocks from the school, and I've got my briefcase, and it's icy and snowy. So I had to run to school. My hair's all frozen and sticking up. I look like Einstein. And I got back up into my classroom. The kids were kind of going crazy up there. No teacher for 5 minutes or so. So I had to tell my principal I overslept. I'm really sorry, etc. And we got that corrected. I was never late to work ever again. But that one, I just flat fell asleep. And if I had to do it over again from home, I would have called the principal and said, I am going to be late. I've overslept. You can say you got a flat tire, whatever you got, but whatever problem. But make sure you let them know I didn't. And question number 7, as a principal, what did you look for in a teacher? I really looked for in a teacher somebody that was willing to make mistakes, willing to take chances, and to become better. Because every lesson when you're first getting started is not your best lesson. But if you make mistakes and you look at it and you go back and you say, wow, I really think I should have done this or that, that was probably the best thing. You look for somebody that's willing to improve themselves. Same with me. Every day you can be a better person, you can be a better teacher, and you can be a better principal. And you just have to look at it as what you can do. But you also want teachers with skills, because there are some teaching colleges that are really good and they put out really good candidates. Some of them not so good. But just because they go to a school where their undergrad is not so good, there were still good teachers coming out of about everywhere. So that's tough. Now today, there's just not as many teachers to choose from. So when you have a job position and you're looking at it as a principal, you might have a third of the teacher candidates that you used to have. So that's really a challenge in itself. But I'm looking for that teacher that's willing to work with you, and when you sit down with them and you are saying this is an area that you need to improve on, then they look at it and they go, yeah, I'm with you, coach. We'll try to improve that. Then it says, finally, what's the best piece of advice that you can give Emily as she becomes a teacher? My advice is just to stick to it. Keep after it. You've got to learn to have fun, have some collegiality with the people that you're working with, and really it's an enjoyment time. Find the area that you think you're going to really like. You know, I taught 4th grade, I taught 5th grade, and I taught 6th grade, and then I taught some different subject areas. And some years were much better than others. I mean, because I liked it better. But Emily, I have no doubt whatsoever that you will be one fine teacher. And I wish that I could have been in education long enough to see you teach. And I hope someday I can, but I know that you're going to be a good teacher. So the best advice I can give you is learn to have fun, but also put the time in. Become a better teacher by researching, by learning about it, by watching other teachers in your building. You'll know who they are. And just don't worry about observations. Just worry about doing the best you can do. And then when you sit in the principal's office and he goes over it, just say, okay, I see that. And I'm going to try that next time and it'll be better. So hopefully these have been a good insight. I'm going to flip this up into YouTube, and then good night. Old Emily's going to be going. So have a good day. From sunny Florida, this is Big Papaw saying goodbye.